For this tutorial, we'll be working on isometric model 11. It is right here. Let me zoom in for you. Right there, and there's model 11. And what we're going to see from model 11 is that looks like it's a block with a triangle that is cut out from it. So it looks like we should be able to do a subtractive modeling method with this part, and I'll show you how to do that on Inventor. So we'll start by creating a new part. Now once the part has opened, I'm going to go ahead and start a 2D sketch. And here I'm going to start it on the XY plane. That way I'm going to take the front of that isometric model and sketch that out. So once I get that, I'm going to go back to my part. And what I can see from the front of this isometric model that I have a block. And if I count the amount of spaces, so it looks like there's 8 spaces. My grid space is at 0.25 per grid space. That would give me the length of 2. And the height has 5 grid spaces, so that would be 1.25. So I'm going to go back here, create a rectangle, lock it at my 0, 0. And I can just go ahead and drop that. So I'm going to use my dimension tool to constrain it. Click on this line and I am going to dimension that to 2, as we had discovered on that drawing, and my height is going to be 1.25. And after I'm done with this, I'm going to finish my sketch. Then I'm going to hit the extrude feature, and I'm going to click on it. For me, I like to bring the direction towards the back, but you can choose the forward, back, or in between. I just have a personal preference to bring it to the back. Now looking at my drawing, looks like my depth is at 1. So lucky for us, it's already default at 1. If yours is not default at 1, go ahead and type that in and hit OK. Now I have the block, but I also have those 2 triangles that need to be cut out. Now normally what I would do, if it was the same size triangle cut through, we could do an extrude feature, but because the triangles are different sizes, we're going to be using a new feature called loft. I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to look at my front part of the shape. I'm going to create a 2D sketch on the front. Now what I'm going to do is create this triangle. Let's see if you can see that. So it looks like if I connect from here to here and drop the triangle down, I will have a triangle on the front view. So I am going to go ahead and first create that line at top, draw this part of the triangle, and try to line it up to the midpoint of this line. So you see here I have created a triangle, but what I need to do is constrain these lines, and I can do that through the dimension feature. So I'm going to go back to the drawing, and we'll see that the point of this triangle is at 0.25 away from this edge. So I'm going to lock that in, and click on here, dimension this, 0.25. It's already dimensioned there. You notice how my lines turned to blue. So I'm going to go from the edge. I'm going to make sure that I locked this, and I didn't. But I want to make sure that I locked it to the center, and for some reason it is not letting me lock that. So let me go ahead and just lock that at 1, and I'll center it. So here it looks like what I had to do was I had to delete that dimension because it didn't dimension it, and lock it at 7, at 1 away from the edge and 0.25 away from the bottom line. If you have issues with dimensioning yours, you could go ahead and delete the dimension as you saw that I did and redimension it to get these constrained. When I'm done with this, I'm going to finish sketch. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to sketch on the back of this block. And this time I'm going to sketch this little triangle here. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and draw. Now the triangle doesn't end at the corner, it actually comes a little bit to the edge. I'll try to lock that towards the center, but it does go a little higher, so I'm going to go there and I'm going to close my triangle, Not worried that it's not even because I can always, once again, come in and dimension and constrain that. So I'm going to constrain that. Again, it's at the midpoint, so I'm going to lock that at 1. I also can tell from my drawing that this is at 0.5 from the edge. So I'm going to dimension this to here, which is going to be 0.5. You'll see that my line has shifted. Here is 0.5, the line has shifted. And now I just need to constrain this distance, which I have to revisit this to see that it is 0.5 from the top. So right now it gives me 0.5509699. Just go ahead and constrain that to 0.5. Once I've completed that, I have 2 sketches and no 3D command. So this is where we're going to tell Inventor to loft these 2 sketches. I'm going to go up to Sweep. That's where the loft feature is hidden. Go to Sweep. I'm going to click to add. Click on Sketch 2. And I'm going to make sure that I clicked on the triangle. It'll highlight it. All right, you don't want the other part, you want the triangle. I'm going to go to Click to Add and hit Sketch 3. Again, I want to highlight the triangle. It looks like it automatically did it for me. Then I'm going to go to a, let's see, Loft Cut. So Loft Join actually lets you make the part if it were 2 different shapes, but what we want to do is we want to subtract that part away from it. So I'm going to hit OK. And there you go. There's your shape. Let's go to the front, isometric view. And here's your part number, isometric model number 11.